Been illegal ever since they landed. Who moved out the natives and left them stranded? Who stole Africans from across the Atlantic? Who auctioned, branded, and labeled as savage? Who wanted to expand in the Mexican landing? Pulled guns and grabbed it, it wasn't democratic. What would they owe if we added the damage? Now they say that you're illegal just because you speak Spanish. When you landed on
Today is Saturday, January 14th, 2012, and the time is 1:24. The thing that's been on my mind recently and pretty constantly is the issue of, I guess, consciousness, awareness, and this whole movement into 2012. Like, I know, now that we're into 2012, the media has found a time to be like, okay, this is the perfect time to pounce on whatever these talks are and turn it into a way to make profit, and that's unfortunate that that's happened. But again, there's something much deeper about what's going on. There's something much deeper, in my opinion, about how these people knew they were experts basically at time and cyclical movements of the universe and of the solar system and everything, like they knew about how things moved, and it's very un-Western, the Western way of thinking is to think of time as linear, but the way, Eastern philosophies and some of the older cultures, the Sumerian cultures, Japanese, Hindu, African, the original, quote unquote original cultures, they believed in time as being cyclical. So, we have people from, thousands of years ago who predicted today, the issues that we're going to have today. Even the Bible, Revelations. You might not believe the Bible. You may be atheist. You may be agnostic. You may be a different religion, but that's fine. But all the religions have a lot of things in common when they explain, the way that the world was at the time. And when they explain how the world will be, there's a lot of commonalities between these religions. And with Christianity in the Bible, Revelations talks about Babylon. They talk about, Babylon, this entity, this country, this place, stacked up to, heaven with sin, until, it crumbles itself, corrupt leaders, I'm listening to Michael Tessarian. He's talking about one philosopher thousands of years ago. I forgot his name. I'm going to actually say probably close to 1,000 years ago, not thousands, but 1,000 years ago, talking about how, women will be objectified. There will be, a country where, tyranny is, something that's actually something that people strive for, basically, people will strive to be killed and to die as opposed to living. People find more pleasure in death. People find more pleasure in pain than in life and in giving. And it's just, I think these people, they understood nature and the cycles of nature. Nature has these laws that a lot of us don't understand. I don't think any of us, even the people who pay attention, really understand how nature works. I think that there are laws in nature, like most definitely there have to be laws in nature. I mean, that's why all these cultures have, this yin and yang, this duality, the teachings of duality and stuff like that, and, science today talks about, anytime you put in to something, you're going to get something out, equal and opposite reaction and things of that sort. But, there are things going on, definitely. Like there are cycles. For instance, our sun makes a progression around the astrological signs, 12 of the signs? You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but it goes through all 12 of the signs, and it takes somewhere about I think somewhere between like 25 to 30,000 years or something like that. It takes a long time, basically. And every time it goes through each of the astrological signs, it takes about 2,000 to 5,000 years. So a lot of people say, we're moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. Some people say we're there already, we're not there, but like Michael Tessarian said, it's in the vast span of the universe. Uh, 1,000 years here or there is really a blink of an eye. So we do have these things that are happening. The sun on 2012 will be at the center of the galaxy, the galactic plane. That's when the Mayans talk about the dark rift, But there are these people, when you talk about this, they think that you're some voodoo doctor. I can't even talk to this, to my close friends. I do have some friends that are open-minded, and I tell them I appreciate that, because a lot of people don't want to hear it. A lot of people actually come at you and attack you for expressing this, Some people are so in this state of denial that you bring this up and they'll attack you. But it makes sense that people will attack you because people don't want to hear something new. People don't want to hear change. People don't want to realize that maybe the things that they knew, that's not how the world works. People don't want to hear that. So I can understand where these people are coming from. But I cannot understand how people want to attack, people for saying these things, So I've learned to be very careful about who I talk to this about. My god brother, I used to have this when I worked in the package service. I had a truck driver, who every time I brought this up, he would find a way to find a kink in whatever I'm saying. Like, for instance, I talk about all the Egyptian pyramids, and I talked about some of the structures that they found in Africa and in Peru. Some of these structures were, basically like laser line, like it was almost as if somebody had tools or technology back then, because it was done like so perfectly. And I tell him about that, and he says, well, everything I said, he would find some kind of flaw in it, in my logic. But he, in a response to when I was talking about the technologies, he said, well, these people back then, the Mayans, they were very smart. So, we fail to forget the power of the mind. So if that's the case, sir, then if the Mayans were very, these very intelligent beings, like he says, well, then why are you ignoring the fact that, their predictions that they made, which, again, really shouldn't even be considered predictions. They should just be considered, like, I'm going to take Tessarian's example of, of a chef. A chef, they cook for a living. They know how to cook. So by saying it's basically, when the Mayans make these predictions, all they're doing is being like a chef and cooking up some food and saying that this is what the menu's going to be later tonight, or this is what the food's going to look like when it comes out. These, the Mayans were experts at time, at, the way the cycles of the universe work. So why is it so crazy for them to say, okay, this is how it's going to happen years from now? If things move in cycles, is it really being predicting? Is it really being a prophet? So that's what people need to really think about. But what I really wanted to get out of this is that it's you can tell that something's on the verge of happening, because when you tell people about this, they confront you with so much animosity that something's going on. They want to attack you. They want to literally rip you apart. It's like they become somebody else. I find that very interesting, but I do find that kind of intimidating. So I kind of want to have a different avenue to get my thoughts on this whole situation out. But that's my stance on 2012. I think that 2012 is going to be a year of, a rise of consciousness around the world. And I think we're already starting to see it through these Occupy. And I think that it's really going to be something that has to do with light, like not just light, like, you turn on a light bulb, but light in the sense that, in the old sense of the word, in the sense that, these religions view light, or the sense that religions view God. If you look at the properties of light, they share the same. If you look at the properties of light, it shares the same properties that these gods are given by us, or if you believe in these gods, that these gods possess. Omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. All-knowing, all-powerful, and everywhere. So that's what light is. And I think through this technology, through the web, we're starting to be able to spread our light to other people and have other people, basically we can shine light on the darkness, on the evil, on these people, on these tyrants in this world, in this country. With the technology that we have, we're able to shine our light, which is basically data. Data travels through light. Everything in this world is data, and everything is light. So this is what this is. This is what's, I think, essentially going on, is the spreading of light, and nobody can hide from it. So very interesting. That's where I want to leave that. Appreciate everybody for listening, and everybody stay blessed and Godspeed.